I've been developing a daily practice at my altar, and it's been life-giving and magical and transformational, all the things that you hope walking this path will bring. And in a temperance year, it's not surprising that there's been an alchemy of elements: tarot, oracle, meditation, journeying, my deity work with the Morrigan in particular, land spirits, nature walks, things happening outside. It's been a mixing and a connecting of everything. For example, the Dissolving Woman card from the Weaver's Oracle that I'm working with currently, she holds black crow feathers on a walk underneath double rainbows this week. 3 feathers were given to me. They now sit on my altar in an offering bowl to the Morrigan. And in my garden, after 17 years of fighting bindweed and it being gone, this year it's suddenly all back. A chance conversation with a friend made me realise this could be a sign. Can you see how everything is all mixing together? So it came as no surprise when one day I sat at my altar and realised the story of the Dissolving Woman on the Weaver's Oracle card fitted with all of these other messages I was being given. Her story and the whispers from the bindweed are the same story. Her story reads that she had been wandering for a very long time across the bleak moors with the matted woman at her side. The matted woman following so close behind, treading on her heels, breathing down her neck, plucking at her shoulders, pressing so near. She hated that hand-trembling, jaw-clenching creature that she had made. She loathed its persistent keening and its droning voice that dulled her senses. She was trapped by the wounds and weakness of the matted woman, and she despaired of ever being free. She tried to walk, but the matted woman grabbed her legs. She needed to rest, but the matted woman lay across her body. The dense fibres of the matted woman's body thickened and spread as it slowly fed upon her until her weary spirit was finally defeated. She was caught at last inside a tightly matted web. You actually couldn't get a more clearer mirroring of the bindweed in the garden that's been calling to me all week to pay attention. The dissolving woman trapped by the matted creature and the bindweed suffocating the plants. But the dissolving woman's story continues, as does the synchronicities. The story goes on to say how the bleak moors had not given up on her. They rolled up their slopes and folded round their summits to create a giant earthy woman who now strode towards her through the dimsy light, swathed in a cloth of bracken brown. The giant woman didn't speak, but unfurled the vast cloak with one sweep of her arms. 1,000 small birds flew from beneath the cloth. They filled the sky a blur of wings. They surrounded the matted web with swift beaks and tiny claws, gradually unravelling the matted creature from her back. They were harvesting her threads of sorrow, picking at her pain, carrying all this into the folds of the great cloak. She was left with nothing, no grief, no wounds, no anger. She was an emptied vessel. She breathed in freedom. Dissolved of the burden of her wounds, she could absorb the land and life inside her. She was refilled. The ground felt steady. She belonged to the wide open moors again. Only love was left. Now the pain had been rolled back. These two cards that I've been working with on the altar together have depicted the story so incredibly well, with all the synchronicities in nature and the garden beckoning me. Messages from the Morrigan as well. I've been pulling daily cards from the Crow Tarot and the Nature Wisdom cards as well. And time at my altar with new dolls as well. It's just been so magical. But that story and the call of the bindweed, it's pulled me also out into the garden looking for more answers that began at the altar. There is a solution here to the stuckness and the wounding that I've carried like my own matted woman for so long. So, with that story in my soul, I head out into the garden. So I hope you'll join me in the garden to watch the making of flower essences. It's been incredible, heavily inspired by a video that Meg did a while ago now over at Rose Honey Ritual, which I will link below. It's been a busy week. I've been trying to work out how to enrich this soil here before I start planting vegetables. I've been watching the ragwort open as well and collecting these seeds. The very end of the seeds I just managed to grab. However, it's the bindweed that's been calling, but not only this bindweed that you can see is absolutely taking hold of the top garden, but also other flowers. There are 3 flowers that have stepped forward to work with me this week. And the bindweed here has never flowered. In 17 years, it clings and it suffocates plants, trying to rise up into the light to flower. But this is a shady garden, hence all the hostas doing so well here. It's never flowered up until now. Can you see? So what to do? The first thing is to free this peony, and you can see here just how much it clings and restricts and suffocates, all in a bid for its own survival, to grow high, to let its own flowers bloom. There are so many messages I get here as I'm working and clearing the bindweed. So, as I wait for the bindweed flowers to open, I begin to work with the other flowers that are calling and to make some really magical flower essences. Now, I've really been called to work with Buttercup for my first flower essence of this year. Now, when I look at Buttercup, for me, without looking up any correspondences at all, but for me personally, my personal correspondence is just pure joy and happiness and radiance. I just see buttercups growing in the path, and I literally want to leap up and down and squeal with joy. And I want to foster that joy in my life moving forward. I have been a little bit stuck of late. Buttercup energy and the essence of what the buttercup means to me, which is different to Brooklyn correspondence. The buttercups in my garden that I live with and connect with, they give me joy. Now, when I do look up the correspondence, a lot of the correspondences say that Buttercup is also linked with confidence, and I've realised that a lot of my issues do stem from a real lack of confidence, imposter syndrome, thinking that the answers are outside of myself. So fostering confidence, getting rid of self-sabotage and imposter syndrome, and cultivating joy is why I've come to the Buttercup. So I have sterilised 2 glass bowls. So in this middle bowl there is bottled spring water. I just bought a big bottle of spring water. Round the edge are things to do, they're charms and little knickknacks that I keep that have all got that message. But I also pulled 2 cards. I pulled this card and I actually chose this card. Now this card is from the Tarot of the She. This is the Dreamer Queen, so the Queen of Wands. For me, Buttercups and that confidence and joy of the Buttercups is very Queen of Wands energy, and the Queen of Wands is a card that has been calling to me for years. It's about time I did some work with her, so I've put the Queen of Wands in. But then I also came to the Browtalege Oracle and pulled a card randomly out of about 120 cards this deck has got, and can you believe it? Joy came out. I just can't believe it. So the Browtalege Oracle is a card that deck that I think I'm going to keep for essence work, and I was willing to accept and incorporate any message that came out to add to the mix, but joy came out. It was just amazing. What else have I got in here? I've got little like doll tiaras and crowns, like that Queen of Wands energy, always wear your crown. I've got a butterfly for transformation. I've got a masquerade mask, which for me symbolises magic, so to get confident in my magic practice. I have a little bouquet charm there, so that idea of flowers and really embracing healing with flowers. Nature, I've got a little ladybird charm. What else have I got? There's a Eiffel Tower, the joy of travel, sunglasses as well. I would love to do more exploring and travelling, more adventure tarot. There is a little charm of a mobile phone. I don't know if you can see that down there. So connecting more, finding my tribe more. And a picture of Barbies and my dolls, that sort of idea of embracing all the things that give us joy. Now, I've picked, being very careful not to touch them, so I snipped them with scissors and dropped them in so as not to touch this mixture. I picked a load of daisies. I think I have possibly 2 types of daisy in my garden, but they're flowers for me that belong to that family of joy. So they're all sitting now, covering the surface of that spring water. They're going to sit in the sunshine now for probably about 3 hours. I've got to keep an eye on the cloud because it keeps coming in and out. When that is done, I will sieve the water out into a glass bottle and mix half and half with brandy, and that becomes my mother mixture for my flower essence. So I'll come back when I'm doing that and I'll show you, but I'm about to go and see if I can get any more flowers. There is another flower beckoning me in the garden at present. Oh my gosh, I've got so much stuff out here on the desk. I have just tipped out my 2 jars full of like little bits and pieces. I've got my Pop-It doll, which I have made, which might come into the mix, I'm not sure yet. I've also got my other charms. I brought some stones down as well, because I might charge us one of these stones as well. I think I might put this one in with the buttercups. I might put this one. No, I'm going to put this heart stone. Look, it looks like a broken heart, but it's releasing. This next tincture, which I'm going to put stuff in here, is about releasing, because the bindweed flowers have been calling me, that tangling up of of like sadness and, you know, past hurts and being bound. It's a releasing tincture to release that binding. The bindweed this year has come back, and I've never felt so stuck, and I just feel like the past and past patterns has me so bound. I don't know whether there's some magical energy at work there, but I need to release it. And I think the bindweed, and a friend and me talked about this, the bindweed coming back for no reason must have a reason. Look at this. It's like a life essence sort of coiled up in there. That's going in. So that idea of releasing, relying on food. Look, there's a hamburger. I want to get to the core of the wound and to release all the things I wrap myself in to not accept it. So things like food. Is there anything else in here that is calling out? Oh my gosh. Tangled chains, but with unicorns and stars in there as well. Things to be released. No, tangled chains no more. And an open padlock. It's all going to be opened up. So you can see what I am doing here. So the flowers to help. There's a flower charm there. There's a safety pin here. I'm going to open up the safety pin and put that in an open safety pin to counteract like the tangled chains. Another safety pin here. I feel really called to put those in open. And a little mini key to the door that can go in. So things that open. Oh my gosh, of course, a Russian doll. That idea of food and body image, and the fact that the doll opens and is equally beautiful at any size, but there is a opening that can happen to stop the trapped ones inside. My inner child. Let's release the inner child. And I think I might charge this clear quartz in there as well. And a butterfly for transformation. Let's put her in. Oh my gosh, a size 12 clothes. Oh, here's something with a pin, a unicorn badge. Let's undo the pin. So it's going to be magic, and you know, sitting with the darker side of life and not covering it over with food. Look, there's another Russian doll charm. Let's put that in. So this is also being prompted by cards on my altar. I'm going to show you the cards on my altar here. So you can see this kind of mirrors that open wound. This is just a big red bead, but that's going to go in to represent that. And protection. I can get down to those core open wounds without stuffing anything down to protect me, and it's going to be fine. I'm also going to put this smoky quartz in. That is just begging to be called. Okay, are we done? Let's have a look. Are we done? Another Russian doll and another butterfly. Oh my gosh, there's something. Hope. A return to hope. Okay, so I am going to use the Bratylege Oracle, and I am going to randomly pull a card from the Bratylege to see the word that it gives me for a bindweed essence. What might I need to think about and incorporate in? And while I'm thinking about this, I'm also thinking about what tarot card I want to choose. I think it needs to be the Six of Swords, which is my storytelling card. I have used storytelling and video making and writing to release a lot of these wounds, and I think that takes you from troubled waters to calmer, but with words as well. I think words are a big part of this, so I'm going to choose the Six of Swords. I keep saying 7. Whoa, right then. Oh my gosh, have we got 3? Oh my gosh. Not sure about this one yet, but these two jumped face upwards, preparing for breaking. So there is going to be a breaking process in this. I suppose you can see it in the broken heart and that idea of really feeling it. Oh my gosh, but transformation after it. This is absolutely the message of the bindweed. I haven't allowed myself to fully break down to that core wound yet. I've been stifling it with things that have become as damaging as the original abuse. So prepare myself to break, but there will be transformation. That is absolutely what this tincture and what the bindweed message has been calling me to do. I hate the bindweed in the garden. It destroys everything. And it just suffocates everything, but I've been trying to pull it up by the roots and keep going back to the start. Really, you have to cut it where it's appearing now. It's about the journey now, not the journey that was. I understand that. It doesn't matter how many times I use this deck, I still forget the warriors. For me feels like swords, but it's not, it's wands. Okay, let's sort the right cards out. There's the Queen of Wands that I need for the other tincture. Now I need the Dreamer 7 for this one. There it is. And doesn't that card with this guy surrounded by all these evil spirits coming in to attack feel like the bindweed? Oh my gosh, that's so going in. So there is that mistaken card, the Queen of Swords, but that's the gift of reason. I'm going to leave that in because sometimes the voice in my head, which is my mother's voice often, tells me that I can't have joy, but that she's the Queen of Swords reverse. This is upright. I am replacing her voice with a voice of reason. Okay, I'm going to go and collect the flowers and in the water for this one now. So careful not to touch the flowers. I snip some bindweed flowers to collect them, and I'll go and put these in the smaller glass bowl with spring water in. So that's buttercups and bindweed done, but there is another flower in the garden as well that's really been calling me, and that's the stargazer lily. Now the stargazer, shooting for the stars, going after my goals and dreams. I want a flower essence to give me the confidence to not give up. In a temperance year, the Sagittarius card of temperance, I think that is all about finding the balance of how to chase after all my dreams without giving up. It's not about doing less, it's about alchemy. And here I am pulling some Brow Talège cards to go with it. Just releasing the things out of the cauldron that are no good. Oh, there's two there. And asking. Oh, this brings in a divine working as well. Ask for support when you need it. Release the things that are bad for you. I feel like I need one more card. I'm being really prompted to find one more. Let's look for one more. So you help. Asking, that looks like an attitude of prayer. Oh my gosh, what have I got there? Sacred alchemy. No friggin' way. I was just saying about asking divine to make your cauldron good. Look, there's literally a cauldron shape on there. And alchemy for the temperance. And these two came out as well, making it real, making the victory real. Absolutely friggin' perfect. It's given me a way forward before I've even started taking the flower essence. I'm so excited about that. Amazing tarot cards to support the flower essence. Now just to find some charms too. I am going to pour the water in, and we are going to go and set a flower in that now. So I only took one stargazer lily. it was out of the fairy garden and it felt wrong to take more than one, but I'm sure that will still be fine. And here they are, my 3 flower essences sitting in the sun and transferring all of their energy into that spring water. It's been such a fantastic morning, connecting with the flowers and mixing charms and tarot and oracle and flower meanings and my personal gnosis of what the flowers mean to create this magic spell, basically. There is a power in the action of this, in the actual doing. Before I've even started taking the flower essence, there is a power that starts to unmat the matted woman. It is a powerful practice, this witchcraft walk, way beyond just picking buttercups. Now the final step, they've cooked for a few hours in the sun. Amber jars, amber glass, not clear glass. Here I am sieving that spring water through fine mesh to get rid of any impurities into just a clear sterilized jar, and then I half fill the bottle with the water and then match it with brandy, give it a shake, and that's my mother tincture. From that strong mother tincture I can label up these little dispensing bottles with just about 1/4 brandy, the rest spring water, and then 5 drops from the mother tincture, and there I have it, my flower essence. And the results so far, well, I've been working with the bindweed essence first. It's sitting on my altar here. And the journeying meditations I've done after taking a few drops of this flower essence has been unbelievable and transformative, and has taken me to a magical realm. There is something in this combination of synchronicities and the power of working with the bindweed that has been very, very transformative. I feel the tangles unravelling and light coming into those unforgiving shadows that have held me stuck like the dissolving woman. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.